And to be so big, I have nursed you through many a chill." Then she produced her parting gift, a muffler that would have swathed poor Gunther from chin to belt. "You promise you wear this if it gets cold," she urged.
"I tell you, Mama, I don't need such things. You don't know how tough old Gunnar is."
"Yes, I know. You promised to wear the muffler." Gunnar took it as he cast a sheepish look at Odin.
All right, I'll take it."
After Frida's boat had disappeared, Gunnar tried to joke about the muffler. But he was a bit proud of it too, and put it around his neck. The ends almost brushed the ground, but it was so warm he soon had to roll it up and carry it with him. The two went for a meal, but Gunnar ate little, grumbling at the food. Once he assured Odin that he had never had a chill in his life, that Frida was too thoughtful about him. "Sure, sure," Odin agreed. Then finally Gunnar cleared his throat and spoke the things that were in his mind.
"Friend Odin,"
he began, looking down at his plate as though he expected to see an answer there.
"I fear that I have seen my family for the last time. We are in for a trip beyond the dreams of men, beyond Ragnarok, to the edge of night where the mad gods make bonfires of worn out suns, where space itself serves the mad squirrel."
Gunnar paused to mutter a few words to himself, and then looked up at Odin with the old smile on his broad face.
"Oh, well, a man must go as far as his heart will take him."
But for all his talk Gunnar tossed and muttered that night, and once Odin heard him cry out,
"So, Hagen, the stars swing right at last and you are mine for the taking. Oh, my lost little boys and my lost little girl."
And Gunnar the Strong One sobbed in his sleep. The ship was loaded at last. The time for departure was near. The crew of the Nebula, over 200 men, women, and children, went quietly into the tunnel. Thousands of relatives and friends had come out to the tower to see them off. There was little weeping, though most of the faces were sad and lined. Ato and Wolden had some of the last words with the captains who were working upon the rebuilding of Opal.
"We can talk to you from the moon," Wolden was saying. "Beyond that, when we swing into the fourth drive, we cannot. May your work prosper."
The last man had filled up the ramp to the sphere at the center of the hourglass-shaped craft. The door was finally closed and sealed. There were no portholes in the nebula, but at least a dozen screens were mounted at convenient locations. These showed the outside world as clearly as a window. The ship moved along its rails to the great door. The door opened, then it closed behind them. The second door, the one that opened upon the sea, slowly parted and slid back into the walls of the tunnel. The water poured in. For a second or two all that Odin could see was swirling, bubbling water. Then water was all around them. Seaweed still swirled in mad little whirlpools. A fish swam close to an outside scanner and seemed to peer closer and closer at them until they were only one great staring eye upon the screen. Then it flitted its tail at them and sped away. The ship moved on. Far out upon the floor of the gulf, it paused. There were 20 minutes of last-minute checking. Then, swiftly as a cork bobs upward, the nebula arose through the parting waters. Then the sea was below them and they were still rising. The scanner showed the sea receding. They were looking down at a segment of a curved world. Far away was land, and Odin saw two dark specks in the distance, which he thought were Galveston and Houston. The world below them became half of a sphere that filled the viewer, and then it was a turning globe growing smaller and smaller. As it diminished, the stars winked out on the screen's background. The sensation of rushing upward was no worse than being in a fast elevator, and yet as Odin watched the earth recede, he realized that they must have risen from the water at the speed much faster than a bullet. Soon the earth appeared no larger than a basketball. The viewers were changed. The moon appeared upon it, a growing sphere, with its mountains and craters all silver and black in the reflected light. Wolden turned to Odin. "See how it is done? We left there quietly. Not a drop of water entering Opal. We left so fast that I doubt if your world even noticed us. Grim Hagen always loved the sensational. There was no need for the havoc that he made." In less than an hour, the onrushing moon filled the screens, and with scarcely a quiver of excitement, the nebula circled it swiftly. and landed. End of chapter 6.